So we are at 7:05. I think it's a good time to begin. Again, on behalf of upGrad, wishing all of you a very good evening. Thank you for joining us. Just to give you a brief context, so upGrad was incepted in 2015 with the mission of making sure that higher education abroad was more democratized, more accessible, was more affordable for both working graduates and for bachelors. And as early as Jan of 2021, we started hybrid degrees as well for bachelor's and master's both, which entailed that any student across India could actually access higher education and start it while being in India, while working or while pursuing anything else in parallel, and then finally during their majors or during the specialization years, they can actually transition to the campus abroad. So we sort of have an option now that that all of you in India, anywhere, can actually access these the same quality of education while staying in India for a couple of years, and actually sort of save about 20 lakhs every year that you spend in India. And then you transition abroad on campus to actually ensure you get all the necessary post-study work benefits, as well as all the research opportunities and internships that a regular student will get. So with this, we actually sort of started our flagship accelerator programs. Now, some of the world's most progressive universities participated in this with us. They launched it with us, one of which is Deakin University in Melbourne. It's the number 10th university in Australia, and I'm sure it's only going to get better from here. And it's one of the best in the world to actually pursue business, not just in Australia. And we've got Ms. Priyanka Singh from Deakin University, who's joined us. And please join me in welcoming her. Ma'am, we are very grateful to be here with you.
Thank you, Praneeth. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you and to be talking to young aspirants.
Likewise. So we've got a mix of both bachelor aspirants as well as those who are looking to pursue their masters. And so just to sort of ensure that we delve deeper to help them understand about the Australian education setup and what are the different nuances involved and what are the different characteristics of the Australian education setup. I'd like to begin with the fundamental thing, that why should anybody actually choose Australia as their option to study business or commerce?
Sure. So, Praneeth, this is going to be a long conversation, I understand. And you know that there is a saying that studying abroad is the single most effective way of changing the way we view the world, which I think is very, very true. And that is exactly where Australia puts itself as the best destination for all aspiring students, And let me give you reasons why it is one of the best in the world. So it has a population of about 24.5 million people, but still it's amongst the world's leaders in education. And home to many technological innovations. You talk about black box, you talk about pacemaker, Wi-Fi. We are so blessed that we have Wi-Fi in today's time, ultrasound scanner, and many more. So innovation is at the heart of their way of education, teaching and learning. So that actually gives students a lot of hands-on experience, learning by doing things, which is what I feel is the most important aspect of education. And also we have nearly 700,000 international students who call Australia as their second home. So there are a lot of international students, there are a lot of students who come from different parts of the world and call Australia their second home. And talking about safety, it's one of the safest destinations in the world that gives priority to health and well-being of an individual. And you can very well know that in current times, They have not bothered about anything but kept their borders closed just to make sure that their people are healthy and they are safe, right? So health is the utmost priority when we talk about living in Australia. So that's one big take. The other thing is that it's one of the most, it has cities that feature on the most livable cities in the world. So you talk about Melbourne, it's the second most livable city in the world, right? Talking about their economy, it's very, very resilient and stable, and also the 13th largest economy in the world. And they have a record of 20 plus years of uninterrupted economic growth, which is a very, very strong foundation for anyone to consider a future, anyone to consider their future life in Australia. Again, it's multicultural because I don't know whether you know this fact about Australia or not, that 47% of Australians, the citizens, are born overseas and they speak over 260 languages. So just imagine the level of diversity the country has to offer. So and then of course there are universities that feature in top 10 globally, and also Australia as a country, it features in top 10 for attracting and for attraction, development, and retention of global talent. So they are very people centric, and Australian government has the most friendly post-study work right and PR policies in place. It's very, very simple, it's very clear, it's and it doesn't change with a drop of a hat. So they have remained very, very consistent. And Australian government, invests in giving scholarships for international students, and they have, 2 years recently, I think in 2020, they announced $300 million of scholarship for international students. So these are some of the things, to consider when we are thinking of an overseas education. These are some of the facts to be considered. Now, apart from these factors, the other thing to consider is that Australia, the weather is very, very conducive for Indian students. They don't experience extreme weather conditions. So it's Indian students are very well able to adapt to the weather. And it has a very diverse ecosystem. And of course, it's known for its beaches, lush green forests, deserts. So you get everything in one place, in one country, you get to experience diversity in terms of, flora and fauna, so it's quite interesting place to be.
Absolutely. I think every time any learner comes to us, we make sure that we sort of reiterate on the fact that it's one of the most thriving economies in the world and sort of gives you one of the best weather conditions that you can actually adapt to. And also, I think the quality of education, I actually sort of do remember this, that almost 4 out of the 10 best cities in the world for students are in Australia. And of course, some of the best universities are based there. Absolutely, as in undoubtedly, I think as an international student myself, one of the biggest things that I was looking out for is for a cross-cultural environment. I think you grow the most in that. Also, I think it's the next biggest growing hub of international students. It already is, but I'm sure it's only going to get stronger from it. Also, can you help us with knowing how long is an Australian bachelor's degree and what is an average cost of the degree like?
Okay, so if you're looking at bachelor's degree, then depending on the area, so the business, arts, and science degrees are 3 years. And if you're talking about engineering, then those degrees are 4 years duration.
Right, and on an average, how much is a bachelor's degree going to cost? So we are sure. I mean, I'm sure it depends on what university you're studying with, but we could take the example of Deakin and sort of you could help us understand how much is it going to cost.
So at Deakin, a Bachelor of Business or a Bachelor of BCom commerce degree would cost you 35,000 and few $100s, which is about 18 lakhs. That's just the tuition fee. Over and above this is, of course, the living expenses. So that's about 10 between, it ranges between 10 to 11 lakhs. So we're talking about 28 to about 30 lakhs per annum. That's what the cost would be.
Great, great, great. And you mentioned, so for any student who's doing the 3-year degree, and on the converse, if there's any student who's doing an engineering degree for 4 years, how does the post-study work visa vary with this?
So irrespective of the courses that students get into, as long as they're spending 2 years duration studying in Australia, they are eligible for 2 years post-study work rights. So that comes with their student visa. It's assured, and they get 2 years post completion of their degree.
Got that. So also would take this chance to actually tell all the viewers here that we have recently partnered with Deakin for a BBA and BCom program with our accelerator flagship model, in which you spend the year 1 with us on upGrad, sort of pursuing your semester 1 and semester 2 course credits. And then we help you transition to Deakin's campus in Melbourne for your year 2 and 3, or for your majors years. And the entire degree cost that Ms. Singh highlighted, you can actually save about 20 lakhs out of those costs in the first year. So the first year is going to cost you 2.5 lakhs, which will include your academic curriculum, your IELTS module, and your study abroad module, where we teach you all the 0 credit courses like academic writing, academic referencing, academic research, so on and so forth. I mean, these are courses that you actually need to champion your academic life at Deakin, and they're an inextricable part of, you know, your success as a student. So Ms. Singh, can you help us sort of largely decipher how does the career progression in current times look like for an Australian student after they're a business or BCom graduate?
Okay, so students can get into graduate roles at both programs, which we are offering through upGrad Association. They offer a variety of careers. So after you finish, you can get into a variety of careers in Australia, and not just Australia, anywhere in the world. And some of the levels that you could see yourself will be, you know, you could be a marketing manager, economist, financial planner, depending on your specialism, business analytics professional, operations manager, project manager, and there are many more. You know, if you wish to know the salary range, so after completing, you would end up earning anything between $65,000 to about 70,000 Australian dollars per annum. So that's the starting average salary of a graduate, business graduate in Australia.
Right, so which is almost 30 lakhs to about 40. So which means the return on investment for a regular degree is about, you mentioned about 35,000 Australian dollars as the academic fee for every year. So that's more or less about 75 lakhs for the entire 3 years. And so they can get their full ROI by almost the 3rd year after they've completed their degree. And also would like to sort of let the viewers know that with us, I think if you can save about 20 lakhs, you can actually get your full ROI in almost a year and a half, because you're spending 2.5 lakhs the first year. And for the consecutive two years after that, you're spending, missing, if I'm not wrong, they're going to be spending about 40 lakhs of rupees for the last 2 years. So that is almost 42.5 lakhs. And you can actually cover that. So 30 lakhs is your average salary when you graduate out of BBA or BCom from Deakin. So a year and a half. So within your post-study work post-study work length, which is actually allowed to you, you can actually cover the full ROI of everything that you actually put in to complete your Australian education. So, missing from here on, I just want to sort of would want you to sort of, let the attendees know what do they exactly need if they want to get into a university like Deakin, as in how much should they score, what other requirements do they need to meet if they want to go to Deakin?
Okay, so they need to get into the Chandigarh University curriculum for their first year, which they will be doing through upGrad platform. So the requirement is 65 to 70%. I think for Bachelor of Commerce, we have 70%, and Bachelor of Business slightly lower. So it's 65% in year 12. And in addition to this, we of course need them to take IELTS, and they should be scoring 6, not less than 6. And if they're taking PTE and TOEFL, they should be scoring equivalent to 6, not less than 6, that score. And they should be able to start with the first year at Chandigarh University, studying on the upGrad platform. And then once they complete 8 units, so the curriculum we have mapped. This is a unique arrangement, students, where the first year of Chandigarh University has been mapped to the first year of Deakin University Bachelor of Commerce and Bachelor of Business curriculum. So those exactly 8 units that you will be doing at Chandigarh University will give you exemption of the first year of Deakin University programs, and you will take a lateral entry into the second year of Deakin's Bachelor of Business and Bachelor of Commerce, and then do 2 years with us and graduate with a Deakin University award. The degree is just the same, which we would give to students who would come directly to us and start from the first year itself. There is no difference at all, and there is no distinction when you will come to us in the second year. There will not be any distinction as such. So I think it's a very, very unique arrangement where the students get to save enormously. You just mentioned 20 lakhs, and I would like to add another 10 lakhs to it, because we have to also consider the living expenses, Praneeth. Those 10 lakhs are also going from your pocket if you're in Australia. So if you're studying on the upGrad platform, then you are in comfort of your home. Of course, the best thing that can happen to you at this point in time, by being at home, starting your studies, you're not wasting a year while you're waiting for the borders to open. You will, at the same time, if you enroll into this arrangement, you will be progressing, and you will be on that journey, I would say pathway to your journey of being in Australia and gaining an international award, and of course looking at the future career in Australia.
Absolutely. Speaking of borders per se, when do we anticipate that Australia is going to more or less open up for its international students, missing?
Okay, so this is one question that all of us are asked every time we are doing these sessions. I know that students are anxious. I know that they would like to hear from the government on a way forward, but unfortunately, I have the same amount of knowledge which you have. So, but the good thing is that there has been a turnaround in terms of messaging that we are receiving from the Australian government. So it's a lot more positive. Today, only Australian government announced, I think there was a statement from the Prime Minister that the borders will open for Indians to travel to India by end of this year. So I'm sure we are progressing. The vaccination situation is improving, and the government has already released a four-phase plan that they are going to follow in terms of how they are going to ease out the restrictions. And when they achieve 80% vaccination ratio, if when 80% of their population gets vaccinated by both the doses, then that's the time they are going to announce, of some, student mobility, which is what we are all waiting to hear. And I think as we speak today, the vaccination ratio of Australia is about 54%. So it's progressing. They've really ramped up, and they're doing their best to make sure that they are able to vaccinate their entire population by November. And by December, they take these bold steps to sort of, welcome international students in small batches. So whenever it opens up, it's going to be in small batches. And it's very, very important for students to get into these pathway programs, because when we are prioritizing, then obviously we are going to follow the first in, first out, method. So when you have enrolled, of course, there is a commitment from our side to get you to Australia as quickly as you can.
So, no, absolutely. I think one of the points that you rightly raised is, instead of sort of waiting on borders to open up, they can already sort of, so any learner across India, if you are a high school graduate, you've completed or finished your 12th standard in 2020 or 21, we're also giving you the liberty of 2019, because we understand that your academic life may have, or your academic plans may have been affected because of COVID. And so 19, 20 or 21, you can still take a shot and sort of apply to Deakin's Accelerator program with us. And instead of waiting for a year and spending another year at home, you can actually start pursuing the academic curriculum of year one of Deakin already with upGrad. And also to reiterate what Ms. Singh was mentioning, Chandigarh University is our Indian university partner that we've articulated the entire semester 1 and semester 2 courses to, which you're supposed to finish 8 of them. And as soon as you do that, you're actually sort of taken as a regular year 2 student at Deakin University. And Ms. Singh rightly mentioned that there is no difference or distinction between a regular student on campus and somebody like you who's on an accelerator or a pathway program with upGrad. Ms. Singh, how is the part-time work ecosystem like? How many hours can students work? And to what extent, in your experience, can students actually handle their living expenses on their own?
So they can work 40 hours a fortnight while they are on student visa. What was the second part of your question?
To what extent, in your experience, have they been able, or should they be able to handle their living expenses?
Okay, so I'll be very, very honest here. Please do not inundate yourself with the pressure of earning for your tuition expenses. Your part-time earnings can support a portion of your living expenses. Mind you, I'm just saying a portion of your living expenses. Please remember that you're going in a country which is new to you. Their way of living is new to you. So allow yourself to settle down. Don't be under pressure. Please make provisions for your tuition fee through your parents' savings or sponsors' savings, or taking a bank loan is another option. And most of our students end up funding their education expenses through a bank loan. So these are some of the things that students can choose to do. But please don't be under this misconception that you will be able to fund your tuition fee. It's a portion of living expenses which you can support yourself with. If education, the way it is done in Australia or anywhere outside India, is very, very different. There is a vast difference in way you will be expected to handle your studies. We expect students to be more mature, so there'll be a lot of commitment from your side. And remember, you don't have the luxury of living with your parents, where you're used to your mom doing so many things for you. So when you are anywhere outside your home, you have to do everything on your own, which means that you have very, very limited time to sort of allocate towards your studies and all the other stuff that you are expected to do, right? So make sure that you're not under any pressure, and you have made provisions to fund your education in a very, very proper manner. And I'm sure when you speak to an upgrad counselor, you can get those details from them, and they will help you prepare, and you will be in a much better position to handle yourself when you're there.
100%. Can you also throw some light on the minimum wages as per the Australian laws for a student, and are they the same as a regular person in Australia, and how much do they earn when they're on a break?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Praneeth. So what happens during summer break? Students can work full time. So that 20 hours a fortnight, 40 hours a fortnight becomes 80 hours. So that's considered as full time work, right? So your working hours doubles up, right? So which means that your earning also gets doubled during the summer break, right? And the average wage for a part-time work in Australia, is about 18 to 19 Australian dollars.
Which is in fact a lot more than any other country actually offers. So I think that is one plus point that I'd give, because if you look at Canada or you look at the US, they're offering a lot lesser than what Australia offers, and the work hours are almost similar, right? Great. So we've got a question here, Ms. Singh, about BCA. So I just sort of want to brief every learner here that we've got two tracks, like Ms. Singh was mentioning. One is a BBA track, one is a BCA track. Anybody across humanities, commerce, or science can actually enter both of these tracks. Both of these tracks are articulated or linked to different universities and different courses. The BBA track is in fact the single track linked to both BCom and BBA at Deakin. So you access some general subjects in both BBA and BCA, and you can actually capstone your education with different degrees. So if you go to Deakin, you can do a Bachelor of Business or Commerce. Similarly, if you go to some of the other university partners we have in Australia, you can do a Bachelor of Accounting or a Bachelor of Hotel Management as well. So there are different things that you can actually capstone your education with. So I mean, assuring you that the BCA track would also sort of land you in Australia for a Bachelor of Engineering or a Bachelor of Software Engineering or a Bachelor of IT degree with our other university partners. But with Deakin, we're primarily doing BBA and BCom. But any which way, I'm just going to drop an email and you can always sort of write to us for a personal queries, if any. So Ms. Singh, can you sort of throw some light on what are some of the other financial requirements that they have to meet to get a visa, as in how much money should they have in their accounts, and what is supposed to be done? How is, once they finally transition to Australia, what is it that they need to have in place to actually sort of get it smoothly or operated upon?
Yeah. So once the students finish their first year at Chandigarh University, then they will be, preparing for lodging. Of course, they will have to get an unconditional offer from Deakin. That's when you have to meet all your conditions. And once you have unconditional offer, then you have to pay the first trimester fee, which is mentioned on the offer letter. And then also you have to take overseas health cover, and then you are ready to lodge your visa. But prior to that, you will have to show us, 1 year of tuition fee, which is 18 lakhs, and plus 1 year of living expenses, and a trimester of tuition fee. So which is, if I take 18 lakhs, then 9 lakhs plus 10 lakhs. So about 19 to 20 lakhs is what you will need to show to get a confirmation of enrollment from Deakin after paying the first trimester fee. And this document, the confirmation of enrollment, is really important one, because without this, you will not be able to lodge your visa.
Absolutely. We've got another question missing. Can you explain some of the other bachelor degrees in medical stream that Deakin offers directly?
Well, we do not accept students directly after year 12 for our medical programs. It's a bachelor level entry. So if you wish to do a medicine degree from Deakin, then you will have to enroll yourself into Bachelor of Biomedical Science and do that for 3 years. It's a 3-year duration degree. And then after completion, you will have to appear for a medical entrance exam, and then also appear yourself for an interview with the medical school. And then if you're selected, then you can get into Deakin's medical school.
Got that. So they can't actually graduate out of school and enter med school. They have to do a 3-year degree and then give an entrance exam that gets them into Deakin's med school. Got that. Also, I think to build upon what you were mentioning earlier, you don't actually need an Australian student visa to actually pursue the year one. You can just do it from India. And that meanwhile, in that 1 year, you can complete your IELTS and all of the formalities. And even if you have difficulty managing funds, upGrad does actually assist you in that as well. Like Ms. Singh was mentioning, we do assist in student loans as well. So, and of course, I mentioned the IELTS coaching as well. So, Ms. Singh, what are the different scholarships that Deakin has to offer? You could include both the bursary and the scholarship on marks.
Yeah, so we have two levels of offerings here. So once the student completes the first year, right, and is getting into Deakin for the second and third year, so we look at year 12 score, right? Because of course we keep our offering standard. So these are standard norms that have to be followed. So therefore, we will follow the same criteria for students coming to us even after the first year. So for a 20% bursary, we require 70 to 79.9% in year 12. And if you have taken A-level studies or GCSE, then a score between 8 to 9.9 will fetch you a 20% bursary from Deakin on the tuition fee for both the years, right? And if you're doing, if you did an IB diploma in year 12, then a score of 27 to 31.9, anywhere between these two will get you a 20% bursary. And the other level that we have is of the meritorious scholarship, where we are giving 25% tuition fee waiver. And for this, students have to score 80% and above in their CBSE, ICSE, or any of the state board exams. And if they have taken A-level or GCSE, then a score greater than 10 they have to have. And if they've taken IB diploma exams, then they have to have a score equivalent to 32 or greater than 32.
Absolutely. So you have a chance of 20% scholarship and 20% is the bursary that you're giving to Indian students, given that they actually fulfill the requisite criteria of Deakin University admission, which is just to let all the learners know, it is 70%. So you need 70% marks to actually get into BCom and 65% to actually get into BBA with upGrad. In their boards, yes. And then if you want a 25% financial aid or scholarship on the last 2 years of academic fee, the first is already 2.5 lakhs. Then you have to get 85% in CBSE. Yes, ma'am?
80% and above.
80 and above in CBSE, and in GCSE over 10, and 32 plus in the if the DP1 or if the
IB
DP
diploma.
got that. Right. So meanwhile, just let me check if we've got more questions at all. So you've already answered the medical question. Can you sort of throw some light on the Australian immigration process? So I've studied, if I study at Deakin for 3 years, and then I get a 2-year work visa, and then what happens next after I finish 2 years of full-time work?
So you will have to nominate yourself for the PR. Normally, they require 4 years. So 2 years, 4 years of working experience, that an individual should be having in Australia. They should be able to demonstrate themselves that they have integrated very well into the society, Australian society. And it's a point-based system, Praneeth. So the students have to score. So region-wise, they have allocated points, right? And if you're scoring those points, then you can nominate yourself for permanent residency. So after post-study work rights, then comes the stage of permanent residency, which you can get for 4 years. And then, of course, the citizenship paperwork you can start, right? So this is how staged wise it goes.
Right. I think that is something that the learners would have liked to know. So let me repeat. So 2 years of complete work, then they have to pursue another 2 years after they complete 4 full-time work years. It is then that they get a PR. Yes.
No, so they have to meet the points.
Meet the
right?
requisite points to
So
get.
I have seen students who are able to meet the points required for PR, permanent residency, in 1 year's time, depending on the profile. If they have prior work experience, if they've gotten themselves into a very good company in Australia, their profile is so you have points assigned for your age, your IELTS score, the region that you're studying in, and so on and so forth. They have other criterias, and once you once you take that cumulative score, you need to score now for different areas. There are different scores, right? So you have to meet those score requirement to be able to nominate yourself for a PR, permanent residence, ship. And then comes the citizenship.
You actually mentioned if they have got prior work experience. I think the accelerator program by upGrad actually gives them an amazing opportunity to not just sort of stick around at home and sort of pursue their semester 1 and 2, but also they can intern on the side. They can keep working on the side and sort of put all their classroom learning into application as well. Also, for all learners to know, we've now sort of given the option for you to study at the CU campus as well. So not just your home, but if you actually want to join with your peer group on our campus, you can actually access the CU campus and sort of study your semester 1 and 2 on campus instead of fully online. So we give you that flexibility as well. Ms. Singh, lastly, I just want us to conclude on the fact that what are the experiential or career interventions that Deakin's academic setup actually allows? So in those last 2 years, what are the work experiences or the internships that the student can actually participate or engage in through Deakin?
So work integrated learning is something which remains at the heart of our curriculum, right? So every course that you do from Deakin will allow you to do some internship, or will allow you to have a research project where you are actually doing things and you're learning by doing things. So experiential learning is what you get. The curriculum itself is designed in consultation with the industry leaders. So we have an advisory board, And before we review, we review our curriculum regularly. We understand from the industry what are the skills that are going to that are relevant and that are going to remain relevant in future. After understanding that, we prepare our curriculum. So if you come to Deakin, you're going to learn, skills that are very, very relevant to the industry. So, which will give you or equip you with skill sets that your employers, potential employers, are looking for. And of course, the internship opportunity allows you to network with companies, showcase your potential while you're doing your degree. And we have seen students, we have had examples in the past where students have generated full-time opportunity for themselves out of this internship experience that they got as part of their degree. The other thing that we do, Praneeth, is that when students start with us, we have a separate wing in the university which is called Deakin Talent that takes care of making sure that students have developed soft skills which are very, very important. And it's not just your technical skills that will get you a job, it's also your soft skills. So this Deakin Talent team, they regularly run workshops, seminars to make students understand that what they should be doing to make themselves highly employable once they graduate out of the university. The second thing is that Deakin Talent is also responsible. It helps students to provide them with part-time opportunities. So they have a portal where the employers can come and advertise jobs that are available for students to take up. Then of course, when you're nearing completion, then through them you can also get yourselves interview opportunities, right? And of course, we've seen students in the past, they have been successful through this opportunity which was given to them by Deakin Talent, the interview opportunity. They were able to grab jobs for themselves. So we work with students right from day one to make sure that they are grooming themselves, they are making themselves ready for the interview, for the skills that they will need to demonstrate, while they're doing internship, or when they will be getting into the industry full time. And Deakin Talent also organizes Talent Week, where we invite companies to come on campus. It's a networking opportunity. They don't give you job at those fairs, but definitely you get to interact with company officials. And in Australia or anywhere outside India, it is important for learners to understand that it's your networking skills that will get you the opportunity. So you have to make sure that you're taking steps in the right direction. You are connecting with people. You are being inclusive, and you're making sure every opportunity which comes your way, you're taking, advantage of it.
Absolutely. I think upGrad, having worked with Deakin for almost 2-3 years now for your MBA,
Global.
MBA, BCom, I can assure all the attendees of one thing for sure, that Deakin has one of the most industrial relevant academic curriculum across the world. And I think, which is largely why we've partnered with a pioneer university like Deakin. And so that also makes, I mean, how you answer it also makes me believe that we're having regular interventions to ensure that the students are not only academically sound, but also very employable, and also have the opportunity through Deakin Talent to forge a stronger network. Yes.
And also adding on to what you said, Praneeth, and what I mentioned earlier, Deakin is also #1 university in Australia for career services. So I think it's a great takeaway for learners, because I know that it is a critical time for you. It's critical to your decision making. Two things that you should keep in mind. One is, if your return of investment, I think since very beginning of this session, we have been talking about how do you ensure return on your investment. So this is one university which is ranked number one for career services. I think that's one major takeaway. And the second takeaway is, besides being number one in career services, we are also number one in student satisfaction in Victoria, and number three in Australia. So our graduates are highly satisfied, and they are able to sort of meet all the objectives that they have. So these two are major takeaways for our young aspirants looking at overseas education, looking at Australia as a destination for their higher education. You're on mute.
Sorry, which in fact sort of checks all the requisite
Yeah.
We anyway need, as in every time we spend about 75 lakhs to 1 crore on any education abroad, we're looking at the employability, as in where do I stand in terms of the job market. And I think the most imperative question or factor is which university can promise the best career services and can actually, which university do I graduate from that I'm the most well received in the job market. I think a lot of that has to do with the academic curriculum, but also the other extra augmentation skills that you give on top of the academic layer that the child is already sort of building his own sort of good record in. And so I am sure of the fact that Deakin does give that ecosystem to every student. And I'd love to sort of answer any question or queries that you guys may have had and we've been unable to answer. I'm just going to put down my email, and I'll make sure that I sort of redirect all your questions to Ms. Singh if it's for her. And about the courses, somebody's asking courses. I think you could definitely go to Deakin's website, browse all the courses, see what fits you, see what fits your profile, and definitely get back to me on my email. And I would definitely sort of connect you to Ms. Singh and her team, who can sort of further take it from there. Also, it's a good moment for all the attendees to know that Ms. Singh, we've now got a direct admissions team. Also, it's a large team, and we're also catering to any direct admission case to Deakin University as well. So if your course is not on an accelerator program and your majors are not the ones you're looking for, then I think you could definitely look up Deakin's courses and let us know, and we will put you in touch with the university and help you apply, help you get done with everything else that is required. Ms. Singh, any message that you want to give to the attendees here?
I would like to, extend my best wishes to them. And my final piece of advice would be that choose wisely, because whatever you choose now is going to remain with you, for lifetime. So please make sure that you're making those wise choices, and be resilient, be inclusive, be brave, and do not shy away from sort of taking that step, because once you move out of your comfort zone, it's when you start expanding your possibilities, then you start realizing, oh, I was able to do this. I didn't know that if I could do this. So it's very, very important for you to take that step ahead in your life. I wish you all the best.
Right, Ms. Singh, it has been an absolute honor to host you. I would definitely get back to you should we have any questions or queries or concerns from any of our attendees or learners. It has been an absolute pleasure to have hosted the space. And on behalf of upGrad and Deakin University, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. And you can always visit Deakin's website for any more details that you need, and get in touch with us. One of our counselors will definitely help you. Thank you again, Ms. Singh, for your time.
Thank you, Praneeth. It's been a pleasure, and you've been a wonderful host.
Likewise.
Thank you. Bye-bye.